Well, hello, and welcome to Working Lunch, the Chamber's weekly series where we talk with community leaders, getting to know the person behind the important work that's happening in our community. My name is Garrett Olson, and I'm the CEO of the SLO Food Bank. I'm filling in for my friend, CEO of the Chamber, Jim D'Antona, who is traveling. And I am in Jim's workspace, along with Jim's favorite team posted up there, the Dodgers. I promise that because I'm filling in for Jim, I'm not going to spend the whole time telling you how the SLO Food Bank turns every dollar into 7 nutritious meals by donating at slofoodbank.org. I just won't do that. Today, we're sticking, however, with the food theme, and I'll be having a conversation with Andrea Chavez, the creator and manager of Talley's Farm Box Program, a direct-to-consumer produce box program that she started in February of 2012. Located just south of San Luis Obispo and about 10 miles inland from Pismo Beach, Talley Farms has enjoyed a long growing season and moderate climate for 73 years, an amazing history. And the Talley Farms Fresh Harvest CSA program, CSA is Community Supported Agriculture, was created when the then newly hired Andrea started in early 2012. When Talley family decided that they were going to grow a greater amount of specialty vegetables and begin selling more local produce to local people. Her goal was to translate Talley Farms' vision of excellence in everything to a healthy, fresh, subscription-based farm food box program available to Central Coast residents. Since 2012, the program has become known for its convenient, local, affordable, and high customer service product. Beyond just the more than 60 locations from Paso Robles to Lompoc, Talley Farms CSA food boxes are delivered throughout the Western United States, including throughout California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, an amazing reach. I'm excited to talk to Andrea about how she got involved in the produce world, some of the challenges facing ag today, including labor, and what drives her to be so involved in community organizations like Leadership SLO and the SLO Food Bank. Andrea, thanks so much for being here. And as everybody settles into lunch, share with us where you're zooming in from today.
Well, thank you, Garrett. It's always great to be with you, whether we are working, Zooming, or having fun. I am here at Talley Farms. It's difficult for us to work remotely as farmers, so I'm right here at the farm as usual on a weekday.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. We would love to start at the very beginning, and that's how did you get started in the world of produce?
Well, I don't come from a farming family. My dad was an engineer, and I graduated with a degree in economics from Cal Poly in 1980, but I always knew I would be in sales. And so when I graduated, I interviewed with a lot of different companies. And I thought, well, what would I like to sell? I'm very passionate and I have to believe in what I'm selling. So I ended up interviewing with a lot of different companies, and including Dole Fresh Fruit Company. And I decided it'd be better to sell bananas than to sell Crest toothpaste. And so I ended up in the produce business. It was right at that time that Dole Fresh Vegetables or Dole Fresh Fruit Company had bought a big lettuce broker in Salinas. It was called Bud Antle Incorporated, and they needed new vegetable salesmen. So that's how I started in the produce business, was back in the 80s, selling Dole, celery, lettuce, cauliflower.
Well, we're so glad that your experience at Dole somehow brought you to the Central Coast and to Talley Farms. And I gave a brief overview of Talley Farms at the beginning, but I'd love to know more about, from your perspective, what is it that you grow and where all does your produce go?
Well, the farm is made up of a wholesale side and then also our retail direct-to-consumer side. We are just a small part of the farm, 10-15% of our total revenue. And the produce for the wholesale side goes all over the world. From North America, it can be exported. It even gets shipped down to Mexico in the summertime. So our wholesale produce is shipped to retailers and wholesalers throughout the United States. The produce for the farm boxes is sold mostly directly to consumers from Paso Robles, and we drop our boxes all the way down into Santa Barbara now, not just Lompoc, as you mentioned in the intro. So, but we can also ship them overnight in our farm boxes.
Wonderful. I found it real interesting from a previous conversation we had that actually the weather on the East Coast impacts a lot of your operations and where you'll send things like your peppers. Can you share with us a little bit more about how when it's raining in Georgia, it might impact agriculture in San Luis Obispo?
Right. The produce business is an international business, of course, and a lot of produce is imported from other countries. But as a grower in California, we do compete with other parts of the country. So if a big chain store on the East Coast wants bell peppers in the summertime or the late fall, they will look towards the East Coast growers, Georgia and perhaps Florida, for their product. But if they get a hurricane like they did last year and their product is upended or destroyed and affected quality-wise, then those big chain stores will come to California for those products. And that's when we can get an increase in pricing. So as growers, we don't wish poor on anybody, but we can benefit sometimes if there's, if there's a hurricane or a natural disaster in another part of the country or world.
So it sounds like some of these things are completely outside of your control, but there are some things that are well within the realm of control of Talley Farms. Share with us a little bit more about the team that plans what you're going to plant, when you're going to plant it, when you're going to harvest it, and where your food's going to go throughout the county, or excuse me, the country.
For the wholesale side, they decided for something like we grow Napa, spinach, and cilantro year round. And so those crops rotate well in our fields. But in the summertime and the fall, we are harvesting bell peppers. And Talley Farms has been known for bell peppers for many years. Oliver Talley and Don Talley grew bell peppers. Our Arroyo Grande Valley has cool nights and warm days, and peppers love it here. So this year we decided to plant bell peppers a little bit later to come off heavier in the late summer rather than early on. Early on, we're competing against Bakersfield peppers and Coachella Imperial Valley peppers. So we decided to harvest a little bit later. This year, it's kind of hurt us because of that heavy rain that we had. So it did affect the quality that we're harvesting this week on peppers, but we love the rain and we needed it. So we're glad to have the rain, but we were sorry to have our bell pepper season ended a little bit early.
So most people would think that rain is a farmer's best friend. How is it that rain makes things worse for something like a pepper harvest?
Well, the peppers absorb a lot of water. And so the quality is affected after a heavy rain. We have to sit out the fields for a while until they can dry out. We also have trouble harvesting. We have trouble getting the tractors into the field because they're so heavy. So that can be an issue. We plan in the wintertime to have our fields ready to plant so that the furrows are made and we can get in and plant as soon as possible after a rain. So we have to plan that out according to the weather. We're always watching the weather here.
And you'd mentioned that the mild climate that we have allows you to do some year-round harvests of some of your primary crops. So it sounds like your labor needs are both consistent throughout the year, and then like during bell pepper season, maybe hit these spikes. Tell us a little bit about the team that's normally there throughout the year, and then we'll talk a little bit after that about how you surge your labor capacity to meet your harvest demands.
Well, here at the farm, during the summertime and the fall, as I mentioned, we need more people. And so many years ago, we just had our main crew here, and we would have try and hire people. The extra people we needed from other areas, Santa Maria, for instance. The strawberry production in Santa Maria does affect the supply of labor for us. So in the past 4 or 5 years, we've started using H2A labor. And this is our third year that we have actually brought in our own H-2A labor. An H-2A program is a federal program, and every state sets their own hourly wage for H-2A workers. As a farmer, we can only have, the maximum amount of time that we can have an H-2A crew here is 10 months out of the year. So there has to be 2 months where we cannot have any imported labor. We use those H-2A groups and mostly in harvesting, but this year we've also used them in irrigation and tractor work. They our crew comes out of Mexico, and they come from an area where many of our full-time employees come from. So we know these people. They come, if they do a good job, they're asked to come back the next year. And so a lot of them, they've become very comfortable here in the Valley. We do, under law, we have to house them. And we have, the Talley family has houses where that they used to rent out that are on different ranches. So as those leases ended, they renovated the homes and put in new, new refrigerators and stoves and bunk beds, and so that we could house our workers. We do have to drive them to get their own food and drive them to church. So we have purchased vans to drive them to and from the different ranches that they harvest, and also then on the weekends so that we can take them shopping and so forth. They're really a good crew. This year we had about 90 H-2A workers, which is the most we've ever had. And this week we've been having barbecues every day because as we finish bell pepper season, some of the crews are heading back to Mexico. The California sets its rate for H-2A workers. This year it's at little bit over $16 an hour. So that is the minimum that they can make. And they can also earn piece rate if they're harvesting certain crops. So they can make over $20 an hour on certain crops for piece rate. But we're sorry to see them go. They're really great guys. They're all men that come. But also with our H-2A, we have a core group of workers that are here. We have almost 200 full-time workers year-round here at Talley. Many of them live right on the ranch here, right here at Biddle Ranch. There's 10 families that live very close by, and they, of course, the fathers work, the men work here. And when we started when we started the Fresh Harvest Program, the CSA program, we needed workers to help pack the boxes. And so we hired the wives of these workers, and they're wonderful workers. And so they're right here. We give them lots of flexibility when they have to take their kids to school. So they're terrific. We're really happy to have the wives of a lot of our workers. We have over 30 people that have been with the farm over 20 years. And some of them have been with us, half of those people have been with us over 30 years. And there's also a couple of workers, our HR manager, Beatriz Ramirez, she's been with us over 40 years. So when people come to Talley, they stay at Talley, and it's a great place to work and a great family to work for.
Oh, that's a beautiful story, and what an affirmation of what a welcoming environment that you provide them, that you have people that stay with you for decades. I can't imagine that the H-2A program is as easy as you made it sound, and that a lot of planning and recruitment and issues at the border become a significant logistical issue for Talley. Share with us a little bit more about how it is you apply to bring H-2A laborers up here, and what your responsibilities are from them recruiting them down in Mexico and bringing them up here and then getting them safely back.
Well, I know right now, Rosemary Talley, I can hear her in her office next door. She is working on next year's H-2A group. So, it takes, we have to apply, of course, and get their visas. Ryan Talley and his team go down to the villages. They fly down and they choose the group that they want for that year. After all and then they go back, and after all the paperwork is situated, their visas are set, then they fly down and fly them back, the group. And at the border, they have to get the visas. And we have the buses there to bring them through this last year. Of course, we got them vaccinated in Oxnard, and they came up. We did have this particular year, 2020, we had, or 2021, we had some issues at the border, and they all had to stay in a hotel room for about a week, waiting for the federal government to get the paperwork squared away. So there's always things that can go wrong when you're dealing with the paperwork at the border. But so it's not that easy to get them here. They don't have, driver's license. They don't have vehicles. So we have to take care of them from the time they leave their village to the time they go back to their village. So some of them are leaving today, in fact. And one of the gentlemen was so proud. In the months that he was here, he earned $20,000 that he is able to take back home, because of course they don't have any expenses when they're here. And he was telling us he's putting a new roof on his house, on his family's house, and all the things that he wanted to do with the money he had earned. So it's a blessing to have these guys come up, because a few years ago, I remember Ryan Talley coming in and saying, I don't know if we're going to have any help to harvest today. I don't know if we're going to have our Napa cabbage harvested today. I don't know how many people are going to show up. So the H2A workers, we can count on them to be here during our busiest time. So they are a blessing, as well as our regular workers here.
Wow. So it sounds like you've figured out some of your labor issues to be able to provide a continuity of your harvesting services. We're hearing a lot about supply chain issues. And while it sounds like maybe you're in control of some of those supply chain issues with when you plant and when you harvest, there are other things that you're likely at the mercy of other vendors. Will you share with us a little about how supply chain issues have impacted Talley?
Well, mostly in cartons. We have ordered a lot of cartons. Usually we don't order as many to keep an inventory. So on all of the crops we harvest, we pre-ordered. For my Talley Box program, I have more cartons on hand than I've ever had before, just so that we have the boxes. Certain areas, especially transportation, the produce business, it's all about distribution, as well as, as in the food bank, you see that too. It's about distribution, and trucking is a real issue. Having LTL trucks that I can load for the fruit that I buy elsewhere for the boxes, and then having our own trucks who they can break down. So there's a lot of issues with trucks and truck drivers. The produce industry relies on trucking big time. So that is one area where we can struggle.
So you mentioned something that for people that don't know much about what comes in a CSA box, we're going to talk about later, but you mentioned something that may be interesting to them, that you actually, as an ag producer, you buy produce as well for your CSA box program. Can you share with us a little bit more about what's included in a CSA box, the diversity, and how you source and figure out what's going to go in?
Well, first of all, we figure out what are we going to grow, and that's the fun part. My wish list, I have a harvest wish list, and so we've been talking about 22 and 23 year. What do we want to grow? What did well in our soil? Maybe I can contract out with another grower to grow for beets, for instance. Babe Farms has been growing our beets again this year. They will. They have better sandy soil. So we do contract with certain growers. I have a lot of relationships. Being in the produce business for over 40 years, I have a lot of relationships with growers throughout California. We focus on California produce, and that's That's the key. We want it grown locally as much as possible within 150 miles. Sometimes it's a little farther north, but we're supporting California farms. California has the strictest regulations of any state in the materials we can use for fertilization and sprays. And so we want to support California. It costs more to grow in California than anywhere else. So we choose California varieties. For instance, for oranges, we would only have Valencia oranges in the summertime in our boxes. We would not have Australia navel oranges in the summertime. So we look for, there's a lot of great produce that's grown year round right here. For instance, next week's box, we have green beans in the boxes. And usually this time of year, it's a little bit too cold and too wet for green beans. But I have a local grower that has them. We rarely would have green beans in the boxes for Thanksgiving, even though it's considered a Thanksgiving item. Most of the green beans, if you buy fresh green beans, usually in late November, they're coming out of Mexico. So we really focus on local, and we work to grow whatever we can ourselves, the items that we're good at growing. We don't grow cauliflower. I can get plenty of cauliflower out of some good growers down in Santa Maria. So we have to pick and choose what we want to grow for the boxes. We grow over 40 different items a year for the boxes, depending on the seasons.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds like when people are getting a CSA box, subscribing for that service, not only are they getting great local stuff from Talley Farms, they're getting local California produce and decreasing their carbon footprint. So there's less of an environmental impact and less likely that there's going to be other treatments to the land or the plant that would otherwise be illegal in California, and therefore maybe a little bit more nutritious and safe for our folks.
Plus, you're supporting California farms. So if I buy from, say, a Bonnie Pack or a Beachside or Santa Ynez farms, they're employing people, and those people are buying, they're shopping local and they're buying furniture, and so all that money stays right in our community. It's also to eat local, and you'll have fresher product. The product has more flavor and more nutrition when it's fresher. So the idea of eating local, it'll be a better product. Recently, we've had California apples in our boxes, and I don't eat apples except during the fall and winter season of California apples. And meanwhile, I'm eating strawberries or other fruit in the summertime. So it's you get a better variety when you eat local. Many people go to the grocery store and they don't know where things are grown. They don't know what's in season. And so with our boxes, you'll know this is in season. This is the time of year for persimmons. So it's really a fun program to focus on California grown produce.
It's wonderful, as you mentioned, when local people spend their dollars to benefit local businesses for that sense of community. And let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about the heart of Talley Farms and your care for this community. I will affirm on behalf of the food bank that you guys are absolutely wonderful partners. You allow our volunteers to go out and glean, to do a second harvest in your field. You make food donations to us. Andrea, you're a member of our board of directors, so you're kind of the boss of me. And I will share with our listeners that in the last 10 years of our relationship with Talley Farms, you have donated over 682,000 pounds of food to the SLO Food Bank. That is absolutely incredible. What first spurred you to get involved with the food bank and care about this community in the way that you do?
Well, as we discussed earlier, it's all about distribution. And so I'm interested on how to get food directly to the end user and the people who need it. I feel as a farmer that we need the food bank as much as the food bank needs farmers. We plant things that are a little, when we plan how much to plant, we always plant extra because we don't know if we'll have, bugs or something. So that's the extra produce, and a huge cost of what we grow is in the harvesting. So if Glean Slow, they come out every week, and there's always something to glean out here. So we'd like to invite anybody who wants to volunteer for the food bank to glean. That it's fun. They come out here for a couple of hours, and the product they harvest goes right into the food bank truck and goes right back to the food bank. We also have committed to supplying the food bank with leafy greens every week. That is, I think, one of the most difficult items to get from the mainstream distribution system with the California Food Bank. You can get potatoes, onions, carrots. Those are hardier items, but the leafy greens are so perishable, and we grow spinach year round. So we've committed to donating spinach every week to the food bank. We're also pleased with our Talley Farm Box Program to ask our members to donate instead of putting their box on hold if they're going on vacation, to donate it. And we bill them the base price of the box. And every original size box, we break into 2 junior boxes. So if you're a subscriber and you're going on vacation and you can't pick up your box or have it delivered to your home that week, just let us know, and then we'll deliver 2 junior boxes to the food bank. And I'm pleased that it goes through the pantry, and people who come directly out to the food bank can get a box of fresh produce. So it's all about distribution and how to get fresh produce to the end user.
It is absolutely magical when people who are subscribers donate those CSA boxes to us. And we talk about distribution and getting fresh food to our clients as rapidly as possible. Quite literally, the day that our truck picks up those junior boxes, within hours, those boxes are going out our door, either to our agency partners, the other nonprofits that we support, and in a lot of cases, people who come and make use of our pantry, and it's just wonderful. And the fact that we're able to get leafy greens locally and fresh makes such a huge difference. As you can imagine, a lot of those leafy greens are more delicate, and we're either going to get fresh spinach donated from Talley Farms, or we're going to run the risk of getting schloopy stuff from somewhere else. So thank you for not making us provide schloopy spinach to our clients. If people want to get involved in Glean Slow, we know that they can go to the SLO Food Bank's website, slofoodbank.org, and click on the link for Get Involved and sign up. It'll give you the unique opportunity of being able to go out to Talley Farms and harvest that you otherwise can't just show up at Talley Farms and say that you want to do it, because you can't. But if people want to learn more about CSA boxes and how they could sign up for that, where can they get some more information on Talley Farms and how they could get some of your wonderful products?
They could go to our website, talleyfarmsbox.com. I do have a coupon code that I can give out. If people new for their first box, they can get $15 off their first box by using FRIEND15 as a coupon. And our boxes are very flexible. You control your account online. We have a great software, unique software website that you can control your box. You can add a box. You can send a box as a gift for the holidays. We also have gift certificates. So there's a lot of opportunity for gifts at our program too.
And if you sign up now and you've got holiday travel plans, it'd be an opportunity for you to donate that gift box in the form of a junior box to the SLO Food Bank and serve people that are in need. Andrea, thank you so much. We're getting close to the end of our time together. It goes fast. But I would hope that you'd share with us in the spirit of Jim Dantona, what is it that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Well, a lot of my Saturdays are spent promoting our Farm Box program. And tomorrow we're going to be down in Orcutt. There's a Veterans Day celebration. And so at one of our pickup locations down there, and we'll have a booth, and we'll be giving away some red bell peppers and some pink lady apples. So if you're in Santa Maria area, come on down and see us. We're in front of the Oak Knolls Hardware Store, who is one of our pickup locations down there.
So remind us again the website and the discount code for getting our CSA boxes.
It's tallyfarmsbox.com, and the discount code is FRIEND15.
Friend15. Wonderful. Andrea, thank you so much. It's been just wonderful talking with you and learning about some of the wonderful things that you and the Talley team are working on. We at the SLO Food Bank just appreciate all of your kindness and the leadership that you provide on the board. For those of you listening on Facebook Live, if you have any questions for our guests, please feel free to add them to the Facebook chat. And when Andrea gets a free moment, she'll try and answer them. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. Godspeed, Jim D'Antona, as you're returning from Arizona. And as Jim would say, go Dodgers. Have a wonderful day.